On October 12, 2024, a family from Santa Monica was driving home across the Mojave Desert on Interstate 15. A woman at the wheel, a man beside her, a 9-year-old girl in the back seat. It was 4:30 in the afternoon. The sky was clear. The road was dry and straight and empty in every direction. Somewhere near mile marker 154, the car drifted, not fast, not violently. It simply eased toward the median, the way a car does when the person steering it has stopped truly steering. It struck the guardrail, hit a concrete embankment, and came to rest nose down against the wall. All three of them died there in the open desert on a Saturday afternoon on a road they had almost certainly driven before. There was no drunk driver, no blown tire, no storm, no darkness, no mechanical failure anyone could point to. Just a straight desert highway in broad daylight and a car that wandered a few feet to the left. This was not a freak accident. On this exact stretch of road, it is closer to a routine because the 181 miles of Interstate 15 that carry you from Los Angeles to Las Vegas have been measured in hard federal crash data as the single deadliest road in America. Not one of the deadliest, the deadliest. And the thing that makes it lethal is the exact thing that makes it feel safe. The claim is not a headline someone invented for clicks. It comes from the numbers. In one national analysis of deadly crashes, researchers examined more than 500,000 fatal accidents across the entire country over 15 years. When they ranked every road in every county, one segment rose to the top and stayed there. The stretch of Interstate 15 running through San Bernardino County, connecting Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Over those 15 years, 1,069 people died on it in 834 separate crashes. That was more than double the death toll of any other road in any other county in the United States. And it did not stop. A more recent study pulled federal crash records from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and ranked American highways all over again. The same stretch of the 15 came back first. 80 fatal crashes in 3 years. #1 in the nation, ahead of every freeway in Los Angeles, ahead of every crowded interstate through every major city in the country. Sit with how strange that is. When people picture a dangerous American road, they picture gridlock, 12 lanes of Los Angeles at rush hour, a tangle of on-ramps in Chicago, bumper-to-bumper freight through Atlanta. Those roads are crowded and chaotic and frightening, and none of them top the list. The road that tops the list runs through empty desert, where for miles there is almost no one to hit. A road through almost nothing, killing more people than roads through everything. An engineer with the California Department of Transportation, someone who has driven it many times herself, put it plainly. It is not really the road's fault, she said. It is a straight route out in the middle of the desert where you can see for miles and miles. Hold on to that sentence. You can see for miles and miles. Out here, that is not a comfort. That is the murder weapon. To understand why this particular ribbon of asphalt kills, you have to understand why it is out here at all. 100 years ago, there was no easy way across this desert. The route that would become the 15 began as the Arrowhead Trail, a rough dirt track that the earliest drivers followed between Salt Lake City and Los Angeles, marked by little more than painted arrowheads and the bones of animals that did not make it. It crossed the most hostile terrain in the American Southwest for one reason. It was the shortest line between two growing cities, and the desert was simply in the way. The desert is still in the way. We just paved over the argument. The Mojave did not get easier because we widened the road. The engineers straightened it, smoothed it, gave it broad lanes and gentle grades and long, clean sight lines. They built it for speed and for volume. And in doing so, they built something that now carries between 60,000 and 80,000 vehicles a day across a landscape that would kill an unprepared human being in a single afternoon. That is the quiet contradiction at the heart of this place. The safer the road looks, the faster people drive it, and the less the desert around it seems to matter. But the desert never stopped mattering. It waits on both shoulders, patient and enormous, for the moment your attention slips. Picture the drive the way millions of people actually make it. You climb out of the Los Angeles basin and up over the Cajon Pass where the freeway threads between mountains and the temperature starts to rise. You drop down into the high desert, Victorville, then Barstow, the last real town for a long time, where a lot of drivers make the mistake of thinking the hard part is behind them. It is not, it is just beginning. Past Barstow, the world empties out. The exits get farther apart. The names on the signs stop being towns and start being things like Zizek's Road, a lonely exit into the Mojave National Preserve that leads to an abandoned health resort and almost nothing else. You pass Baker, home to the tallest thermometer in the world, a 130-foot monument built to celebrate the heat that kills people out here. You grind up the long climb to Halloran Summit and over the mountain pass grade toward the Nevada line. Between some of these points there is no town, no gas, no cell signal, no shoulder worth the name. Between Nipton and Primm, there is no alternate route at all. For long stretches, there is nothing beside you but Soda Dry Lake shimmering white in the sun and the wall of the Soda Mountains beyond it. This is the stage, remember it. Every name on it has a crash behind it. And there is a good chance you have already stood on it. If you have ever driven from Southern California to Las Vegas, you have made this exact drive. You know the boredom of it. You know the way Barstow feels like the halfway mark, even though the emptiest miles are still ahead. You know the slow creep of the speedometer as the road opens up, the way the car in front of you shrinks to a dot and then vanishes over a rise. You know that strange floating feeling in the last hour, when the sun is low and the desert glows orange, and your mind wanders somewhere far away from your hands. That feeling is not peace. That feeling is the first symptom. Every driver who ever died out here felt some version of it in the minutes before, and thought nothing of it because there was nothing about it to think about. It felt like every other easy mile they had ever driven, right up until it was not. Now the mechanism. Why does a straight, wide, modern highway kill more people than a twisting mountain road? The answer starts with your own brain. The human mind was not built for this. It was built to stay alert to change, to movement, to threat. Out here, there is none of that. The road runs dead straight for miles. The scenery on your left this minute is the same scenery that was there 10 minutes ago and will be there 10 minutes from now. The same tan hills, the same creosote, the same white line unspooling toward a horizon that never seems to get any closer. Your brain does something with all that sameness. It stops watching. Drivers call it highway hypnosis, and it is exactly as dangerous as it sounds. Your eyes are open, your hands are on the wheel, you are covering ground at 80 miles an hour, and some essential part of you has quietly checked out, gone somewhere else, stopped tracking the slow drift of the car toward the line. On a crowded city street, That drift gets corrected in half a second because something is always happening to snap you back. Out here, nothing happens. Nothing happens for a very long time, and then everything happens at once. That is what took the family from Santa Monica. Not a villain, not a mistake you would even recognize as a mistake, just a straight road doing to a human brain exactly what a straight road does. Now stack exhaustion on top of that. This is where Las Vegas comes in. Half the traffic on this road is pointed at a city built to keep you awake. People drive out on a Friday full of anticipation. They come back on a Sunday running on almost nothing. No sleep, or a few bad hours of it. Too much of the weekend still in their blood. 4 hours of driving between them and their own bed, and one overpowering desire to just be home. So they push. They tell themselves they are fine. They have made it before, so they will make it again. They roll down the window, turn up the music, and point the car at that endless straight line in the worst possible condition to be driving it. And the road does nothing to save them from that decision. A twisting mountain road punishes a tired driver quickly and gently with a sharp curve that forces them to wake up and pay attention or slow down. This road never asks anything of you. It lets you hold the wheel loosely for an hour at a time. It lets you coast. It lets you fade. It removes every small demand that would otherwise keep a sleepy brain awake, and then it hands you the bill all at once, at the one moment you had finally stopped watching. Fatigue does not feel like danger. That is what makes it so effective. It does not hurt, it does not warn you, it just narrows you, dulls your reactions, and eventually closes your eyes for a second or two without asking permission. A microsleep, they call it. 2 seconds at 80 miles an hour is nearly 300 feet of highway traveled with no one driving the car. The desert is very good at finding those 2 seconds. It has all the time in the world. You are the one on a schedule. And then there is the drinking. On this stretch of the 15, study after study lands on the same figure. Roughly 1 in 4 fatal crashes involves a driver who has been drinking. Think about where this road goes. It runs to the party capital of the country and back again. People leave Las Vegas having done exactly what Las Vegas invited them to do. And then they climb behind the wheel for a long, dark, empty drive where they are convinced no one is watching. Out here, in the middle of nowhere, a driver feels invisible. No traffic, no lights, no patrol car in the mirror for miles. That feeling of being unwatched is its own kind of poison because it strips away the last thing that might have stopped them from driving at all. 1 in 4. That means for every 3 deaths out here caused by simple exhaustion and monotony, there is a 4th caused by someone who chose to drive impaired across the deadliest road in America, at night, at speed, aimed straight at everyone else still trying to get home. Now take everything you have heard so far and turn out the lights. Out here, night is not the dim, orange-lit night of a city. There are no street lights on most of this road, no glow on the horizon, no lit-up buildings to give your eyes something to hold. When the sun drops behind the Soda Mountains, the desert goes truly black, and your entire world shrinks to the cone of your own headlights and the 2 red dots of whatever car is ahead of you. That darkness does something to a tired mind. With nothing to look at, the monotony deepens. The white line hypnotizes even harder. Distances become impossible to judge. A driver crossing the median the wrong way is invisible until the last few seconds, just a pair of lights that seem, for one confused moment, to be exactly where they belong. before you understand they are pointed at you. The road has another way to kill you, and this one does not care how alert or how sober you are. It is the heat. Summer temperatures on the floor of the Mojave climb well past 110, 115 degrees. Baker did not build the tallest thermometer in the world as a joke. It built it because the number here is genuinely a spectacle and genuinely a threat. Heat like that is brutal on machines. A tire that was a little low, a little old, a little worn, blows out on scorching pavement at freeway speed. Engines overheat on the long climbs toward Mountain Pass. And when your car fails out here, your troubles are only starting. A breakdown with cell service and a wide shoulder is an inconvenience. A breakdown on this road in July with no signal and no shade and traffic coming past your door at 80 miles an hour is a survival situation. People have died out here standing next to their own stopped cars, not in the crash, beside it, in the sun. A stranded driver who decides to walk for help learns very quickly that the next exit is much farther than it looked from behind the wheel, that there is no shade anywhere, and that the heat rising off the pavement is a physical wall. The desert does not need to crash your car to kill you. Sometimes it just waits for you to step out of it. There is one more ingredient, and it shares every one of these lanes with you. Trucks. This is one of the busiest freight corridors in the West, a river of heavy semis hauling goods between Southern California and the rest of the country, running day and night. Mix that constant stream of 80,000-pound trucks with weekend tourists who drive this road twice a year, and with local commuters who drive it every single day and have stopped respecting it. Fast drivers and slow drivers, fresh drivers and wrecked ones, professionals and people who are half asleep. They all share the same 2 lanes in each direction at the same high speed across the same empty desert. When a fatigued driver drifts into a truck, or a truck cannot stop for the wreckage a wrong-way driver just made, the size difference decides everything. There is very little a passenger car can do against that much steel moving that fast. And there is one more trap, and it springs at the worst possible time, on the Sunday drive home, when thousands of Californians all leave Las Vegas at once. This wide-open desert freeway can go from flowing at 80 miles an hour to fully stopped in the space of a single hill. A driver crests a rise, still hypnotized by an hour of empty road, still carrying all that speed, and finds a wall of brake lights that was not there a moment ago. The very emptiness that lulled them is what leaves no room to stop. Some of the worst pileups on this road happen exactly there, in the sudden gap between total boredom and total panic, with no warning in between. Let me put faces back on the numbers. Late on the night of October 28, 2024, a 21-year-old woman was driving north on the 15 near Baker with a friend in the passenger seat. Somewhere in the dark, on that flat, forgiving, featureless road, the car drifted right toward the shoulder. She overcorrected. The vehicle left the pavement, rolled down a dirt embankment, and tumbled out into the open desert, coming to rest on its wheels far from the freeway. She was thrown from the car as it rolled. She did not survive. Her passenger walked away with barely a scratch. That is how thin the margin is out here. 2 people, same car, same second. One gets up and one does not, decided by nothing more than physics and luck. And the cause was not drama. It was the same drift, the same overcorrection, the same quiet failure of attention on the same straight road that has taken so many others. Some of the dead were doing everything right. In the pre-dawn dark of June 29th, 2025, near that strange Zizix Road exit, a car came down the interstate going the wrong way. Headlights pointed at oncoming traffic. A 70-year-old man in a Honda met that wrong-way driver head-on. Both of them died at the scene. Investigators would later say that for the victim, alcohol and drugs were not believed to be factors at all. This is the part that should frighten you most. You can be rested, you can be sober, you can be 70 years old and careful and doing nothing but driving home in your own lane, and a stranger's headlights can still appear in the last place your brain expects them, on the wrong side of a divided highway, in the dark, with a combined closing speed of well over 100 miles an hour and almost no time to react. On the deadliest road in America, doing everything right is not always enough. Wrong-way drivers are almost the signature of this stretch. Read the local crash logs for any given month, and you find them again and again. A dark sedan flying south in the northbound lanes. Frantic callers describing a car that will not slow down. In March of 2025, near Kelbaker Road, a wrong-way driver crossed into oncoming traffic in the dark and struck vehicle after vehicle, including a semi-truck hauling a loaded trailer. When it was over, someone was dead on the pavement and the freeway was closed for hours. It happens here so often because everything about the place enables it. Long runs of wide, dark median and almost no lights. Impaired or exhausted drivers who no longer know which ramp is which. Miles between the exits where a mistake could be caught before it kills. By the time anyone even realizes a car is coming the wrong way, it is already doing 70 toward a wall of headlights that cannot get out of its path. The map will not tell you this part. The desert is not trying to kill you. That would almost be easier to guard against. The desert is simply indifferent. It does not slow down for the tired. It does not sober up the drunk. It does not soften the wall for the family in the Highlander or catch the young woman thrown from the rolling car. It offers you 181 miles of perfect, straight, sunlit road, and it lets you decide what to do with your attention. Then it collects without malice and without mercy on every single lapse. Everything about this road tells your nervous system to relax. It is wide, it is smooth, it is famous. Millions of ordinary people drive it every year for fun on their way to a vacation, and the overwhelming majority arrive perfectly fine. There are no hairpin turns to respect, no cliffs, no ice, no obvious reason for fear. It presents itself as one of the easiest long drives in the country, and in a plain way it is. That reputation is the trap. A road that looks dangerous keeps you sharp. A road that looks this safe lets you soften, lets you drift, lets you believe the boring miles will stay boring. And most of the time, they do. That is the cruelest part. The road rewards your complacency thousands of times before it punishes it once. Think about how that shapes a person. A local who commutes this desert every day drives it 1,000 times and nothing happens. Each safe trip teaches them that the road is nothing to fear, that the warnings are for tourists, that they can push the speed and shorten the sleep and stretch the fuel a little further. The desert lets them believe it, mile after mile, year after year. It is a patient teacher of a lethal lesson. And the lesson holds perfectly, right up until the one drive where it does not. The engineer was right. It really is not the road's fault. The road is just a straight line in the sun. The danger is what a straight line in the sun does to the person driving it. So if you are ever the one making this drive, and millions of you will be, understand what you are actually doing. You are not taking a scenic shortcut to a fun weekend. You are crossing one of the most unforgiving landscapes in North America on the deadliest measured road in the country. Treat it that way. Sleep before you drive it. Really sleep. Do not leave Las Vegas at 2 in the morning on 1 hour of rest because you want to beat the traffic. Fill the tank before the empty stretch. Every time. All the way. Check the tires before July asks them a question they cannot answer. Do not drink and then point a car at that dark, endless line, thinking the emptiness will protect you. The emptiness is not protection. The emptiness is the danger. And when the road goes straight and quiet and the miles start to blur, when your own brain begins to whisper that you can relax now, that is the exact moment to sit up straight. That whisper is how it gets you. Come back one last time to that Saturday afternoon in October. A woman, a man, a little girl, 9 years old, in the back seat. A family from Santa Monica driving home across the Mojave the way people have driven home across it for 100 years. It was the middle of the day. The sky was clear. They had done nothing wrong that any of us would not also do. They were tired, maybe, on a long, dull, familiar road, and for a few seconds the car drifted, and the desert was right there where it has always been. They were not statistics when they left home that morning. They became statistics somewhere near mile marker 154. That is the true weight of the deadliest road in America. It is not the ranking. It is not the 1,069 names in an old study or the 80 crashes in a new one. It is a 9-year-old girl who was in the back seat 1 minute and gone the next on a bright afternoon on a road so easy and so ordinary that no one in that car ever saw a single reason to be afraid. You will drive it someday, maybe you already have, and it will feel like nothing at all. That is exactly what she felt too.